Hi, this is Josh, and today we are going to take a look at the INEOS Grenadier Quartermaster, which I just happened to borrow from Mossy INEOS Grenadier during my service visit today. And so they gave me a car to take out for a little while, and so I thought I'd go through it. You can tell it's big, I'm little, and it's interesting. I just drove it here, and I've got some driving impressions. We'll go over that. But basically, it's a lot of Grenadier inside. The difference is that the Grenadier has a 112-inch wheelbase and the Quartermaster has a 127-inch wheelbase. So it's longer, and the total distance is the Grenadier is 191 inches and the Quartermaster is about 220. So it's a bigger car. It's got more in the back half, obviously. So is it different to drive? Yeah, I think it drives a lot more like a pickup is the best way to describe it. It's got a little bit, when the back is empty, you kind of feel a little bit of a shudder that you don't feel in the Grenadier with the solid body. But it's the same engine, the BMW B58 in America. That's all we have is the petrol engine. And it basically sounds the same on the inside, it looks the same on the inside, and it pretty much drives the same. All the steering characteristics are the same. It's just a different flavor, really. So let's take a walk around, and you'll see this color is Magic Mushroom, which I often mistake for white, because in the right or the wrong light, depending on how you phrase it, it doesn't look like the color that you think it is. That fuel door looks a lot bigger than it does on the Grenadier. Could just be the color. That is a really heavy tail door, and there's a lot of space in the bed, and there's actually room for 2 spare tires. There's one, and again, it's got the locking door, the locking luggage, or the locking storage inside the wheel, and you can have the same thing on the other side if you like, or you can remove them both and then just have more bed space. And of course, this is sturdy. You can sit on it. You can sit on it, and it supports weight, which is a good thing, because this would be nice for a tailgate party. But it's kind of fun. Let's keep going. Reversing camera. And of course, this comes in the same 2 trims, the Field Master and the Trial Master. This is a Quartermaster Field Master, and you can tell it's got the same alloy wheels that the Grenadier comes with, the Field Master. And it otherwise looks very similar. I'm going to raise this up, maybe give you a different perspective. It's an interesting looking vehicle. I noticed it got some attention on my way over here this afternoon, and it's a looker, and it's got a presence, because I don't know how it translates on the video, but it's pretty big, and it's basically the same height as the Grenadier, maybe a tad bit shorter, but it's otherwise very similar. I see there's an antenna on the roof that I didn't notice, and the Grenadier does not have that, and I'm not sure if that is something that they added. And then this roll bar is something that the rear of the Quartermaster is somewhat configurable. You can have it be a canvas boxed space, or you can have it with this roll bar that comes standard unless you choose a different configuration. So there's a couple of options that you can have with the rear cargo space when you're building your Quartermaster. Inside, the rear seat has a couple of things. First, got our floor mats, and every Grenadier that has the skylights comes with this carry case that looks like a massage table that, frankly, I store at home because it takes up a lot of room. But if you take out the safari windows in the front, this is what you put them in. Almost looks like a suitcase. And then it's the standard back seat, but I'm going to show you it's a little less leg room. You'll notice that the front seats, especially in the center, it's pretty close. So there's a little less cabin space than there is in the standard Grenadier. And just like the seats fold forward. And this is where your fuses are. And on the other side, it's either going to be your premium audio. I can see this one's a Fieldmaster, so it's got the premium audio, the subwoofers over there. But if you get the auxiliary battery, you would have the battery on that side instead. The seats are easy to fold. So there's a little less space back here, and that's just something you want to be aware of. This seat actually folds forward, I'm pretty sure. But you do have to remove the headrest. Just like the Grenadier, you have to remove the headrest in order to fold the seat flat. And then behind here is your jack. Behind here is your jack and a place for the emergency kit if you have it, the warning triangle. And that's pretty much it. But I find these seats, I wish that there was a way that this headrest could fold flat and so you don't have to remove it in order to fold the seats forward. That is on my wish list, my dream list. I know you're used to me talking to you from my car that looks just like this, so it's only a surprise, not really, because I feel like I'm in the same car. The only difference is the seats are all black leather instead of the black and gray leather that I have. But we're going to take a little drive in the Quartermaster and talk about impressions, because I think we're pretty much going to have the same experience that we do in the Grenadier. Now, I took the Quartermaster over to Balboa Park nearby, the INEOS dealership, and it gets attention. I'm just telling you, if you get a Grenadier or a Quartermaster, be prepared for questions and curiosities, and they're always enthusiastic people and friendly. I've not yet had a negative encounter with my Grenadier. It's always people that are curious, they like the look, or they've seen pictures, they've never seen one in person, and so it kind of adds to the fun. It does take a little bit of time because normally I stop and answer questions, but it's, you know, just part of the game. So anyway, off we go. And it's the same BMW B58 engine, same transmission. And then of course in America, we only have the petrol engine. So this is exactly what I have in my Grenadier, no different. And the steering handling feels very similar. I'm gonna say that in the back, because there's a longer wheelbase and there's no load back in the bed, there's a little bit of a shudder. It reminds me of when I used to have a convertible and you'd feel the front kind of twist before the back twisted. And it's not off-putting, but it's just something that I'm noticing that it's not something that I experienced in the Grenadier. It's not bad, it's just different. It's very, very similar. If you've driven a Grenadier, you've pretty much driven a Quartermaster. The only difference is what are you going to use it for? And this clearly is going to be for people who want to store or load or haul things in the bed. And of course the bed can be configured a few different ways. If you go to the configurator, you'll see that you can put a cover over the back. They have a canvas cover. I'll show a picture of one that I took in Germany. It actually looks pretty cool, and it kind of covers up the space and hides whatever's back there. This one has the roll bar on it, which comes standard if you don't get the load space cover. But there's a couple of options that you have with the rear space, and you can have up to 2 spare tires. There's one already that comes with the Grenadier, and then you have room to get an optional second tire that fits on the other side. There's actually a divot in the bed that allows you to store a second tire. And of course you can remove them both if you're carrying something that's wide. The Grenadier has a wheelbase of about 115, 116 inches, whereas the Quartermaster's wheelbase is about 127. So there's a little more length to this vehicle than the standard Grenadier station wagon. And I'm not sure if maybe that's what I'm feeling a little bit, because the wheels are further apart from each other. But it's a pleasant drive. And of course the front is identical, so stopping distance, handling, so far I can sense that it's all pretty much the same. This one is a Fieldmaster, so it doesn't have the optional auxiliary wiring, and it doesn't have the battery. It's got the premium audio. And of course, no matter what you drive, you get to sit in traffic. If you go anywhere, you get to sit in traffic. And I just remember I always said that the Aston Martin I used to drive goes just as fast in traffic as every other car goes in traffic. It's just a more comfortable place to be. So just like the Grenadier, this one eats, forgot about that. Not my car, doesn't have the favorite button set. Vehicle functions, ADAS system, intelligent speed warning. Okay, one thing I've learned about the Grenadier, with the front corners when you're turning in a tight space, is that those front corners really do help you guide and know approximately where the bumper is. Because I always felt like the bumper was way out there, but you basically follow the corners of the car and you know pretty much where your bumper is going to be. And so I find I can turn in spaces a little tighter than I thought I could, and I haven't hit a wall yet. Okay, acceleration test. Oh yeah, actually this feels lighter. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe it's because there's no load. It feels very light and actually a little zippier than the Grenadier. That's maybe just my impression, because I'm used to the acceleration that I've got, and normally I don't floor it when I'm driving the car, but this kind of had a good pickup. So cabin noise about the same. You hear as you get, I'm going 64, there's more wind noise that comes on the windshield because of its flat angle, and it's no worse than in the Grenadier. And some people are very concerned about it. It's not as bad as you might think. It's not whisper quiet, but I've been able to, I can have phone conversations using the Bluetooth in the phone, and people can hear me just fine. And that's pretty much my consideration. Of course, I'm not playing any music right now, and that might fill in some of the background and take away some of the noise that you hear from the freeway, because I hear all the cars passing by and so forth. And I'm more used to that because if I'm making a video, I don't have the volume up on this stereo. But it's just as capable. And looking at the rear view mirrors and the side view mirrors, and these are the standard OEM mirrors, you can see pretty well. And actually, because there's a window much closer to you, the rear view mirror that comes stock isn't bad. I mean, it's got the headrests from the rear seat that get in the way a little bit. And I've got a dealer plate in the back window too, but you can see a little bit better than you can. Now, of course, if you have anything in the cargo bay, that's over with. And then you're back to probably wanting a wolf box. Because I think at the end of the day, the camera rear view mirror really makes a big difference in the Grenadier. I think that's really made it a much more comfortable drive for me because I feel safer, because I can see regardless of what I have in the back. All the controls are the same. This one has the heated seats, so I'm seeing exactly what I see in my Grenadier. This is a 2025 model, and I'm gonna say it again, the 2025s are the same as the 2024s, just more expensive. Because this Quartermaster is $97,000 US. And of course, that's a 2025 price, and it I think post tariff. I don't know that for a fact. I just know that all prices of all cars are going up. And of course, you know, if you're interested in one and you can find one that exists on the ground, that's going to be your best deal. But there's still something to be said for ordering your own and waiting and getting exactly what you want. You just have to invest a little time making sure you understand the options so that you do get what you want and don't miss out on anything that you didn't realize you needed. Now, interestingly, this car doesn't have the side steppers. That's a dealer installed option, but you order it when you do the configurator. And I use those every day, obviously, to climb in and out of the car. I'm not very tall. And this car doesn't have them. And it's a whole different experience trying to get in and out of it. I have to like lob myself up to get into the seat. I got to merge over here. We're almost getting off the freeway. So the side steppers, good investment if you have any concerns about getting in and out. Now, if you get rock sliders because you're an off-roader, then you can't have side steppers. They're basically similar. It's just one's kind of out from the vehicle and you can step up onto it. Whereas the rock sliders just hug the vehicle and keep it from getting scratched and bumped and dented. But I'm missing them on this Quartermaster. But otherwise, it feels very, very much the same. And, you know, I guess I shouldn't have expected it to be any different. But I'm telling you, if you've driven one, you've driven them both. And the differences are very minor. And again, in the back, without a load back there, it feels a little light. But I think that's kind of a pickup truck thing. So if you've driven other pickup trucks, you're probably understanding what I'm trying to describe, because I don't know that I'm describing it so well. So handling, it's the same, steering the same. I don't know if the turning radius is identical, but it feels like it pretty much is. I'm not having any difficulty with the car staying stable and in its lane. I just don't see that being a deal. I don't know. And this is not my Grenadier, because some people say, I don't notice you recorrecting your steering all the time, and I don't. It just, I don't know, works for me. Because a lot of people are very concerned about the steering, and I'm not one of those. I only hate the turning radius. But the steering itself, meh. It's responsive. Maybe it's not as on a dime, you know, super hyper power steering like, but I guess I grew up in the days where cars didn't have power steering. I'm old. And so I like a little assist, but I don't necessarily like it to just be, you know, where you can steer it with your finger. Because I do remember cars like that had just uber power steering. So this is not that. But keeping it on the road, I didn't think about it the entire time I've been out driving. But I like to mention it because people ask questions about that. The steering, The air conditioning, it's the same. I actually had a conversation with the dealer this morning, the service manager, and they're working on a software fix that will address some of the hot, cold, finicky quirkiness where it kind of overcompensates or undercompensates when you ask it for a temperature. It doesn't quite give you what you're asking for. And apparently they're working on that, and it's more of a software thing. Now the whistle, not sure. I don't remember if he said anything about the whistle, because that's more of a physical thing with the little door opening and closing that allows air to come through. But this one's not whistling. I can turn it up quite high. No whistle. So I don't know if that's just unique to certain vehicles, but I have heard people talk about that. So other than that, I think if you're interested, if you like the look of this over the Grenadier station wagon, go for it. It's kind of a fun drive. And if you got the use for that kind of utility, then it'll make sense to you. I like that enclosed space. Now just keep in mind that the rear seats are closer to the front seats, and so long-legged people won't be as happy in the Quartermaster as they will be in the Grenadier. There's a little more space in the back seat. And here we are, INEOS. Okay, so that's it for the Grenadier Quartermaster. Boy, this is a lot of words. INEOS Grenadier Quartermaster, Fieldmaster, and I like it. I think I like my Grenadier station wagon more, but this is kind of a unique alternative for those people that want a station wagon but want the Grenadier look, because it's got the same qualities, it's got the same fitment. So I think it's a good addition to the product range. And you know, they're starting to show up now in America. So again, this is a 2025. I'd like to say thanks to Mossy INEOS Grenadier in San Diego for loaning me the vehicle to give me something to do while I'm having my car serviced. That kind of kept me from having to go home and sit around and wait to come pick my car back up. So I appreciate to them for that. But if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and let me know what your thoughts are. So a lot of people are interested in the Quartermaster. Some people think, you know, the pricing is what it is. I get a lot of comments about the pricing's too high. The pricing on all cars is too high at this point. It's more a matter of, is this right for you? Because if it's right for you, the price is a little less of a factor, because people want what they want. So this is no different. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.